Hello, my name is Domini Marshall. I'm the writer-director of HOWL, and it's screening in the Generation 14 Plus program.
That's cute. Thanks. Hope not to leave my side tonight. What? Oh my god, this is so stupid. Okay, I got this. Let's go. Hand.
Hello and welcome to the 39th Teddy Award. My name is Jan-Felix Wuttig and today I'm here with Domini Marshall to talk about the film HOWL. Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's very nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And thank you for HOWL. It's been an amazing film.
Oh.
It is that very intimate portrayal of, I felt, of a friendship between two girls. And it very much touches on initiation and first experiences. Could you tell me how the idea for the film came to you?
Sure. I mean, I can't recall the exact kind of idea, but I know that I wanted to explore the often quite intense experience of being a teenage girl in a very patriarchal world. Yeah. It is a personal story in that, you know, it's obviously a work of fiction, but many elements of it are drawn from experiences I had growing up. And actually in making the film, I did speak to, or I had a lot of women and kind of girls come up to me when I had shared the film in different spaces and, you know, speak about the same thing happening to them or happening to people that they know. So, you know, that was part of exploring this. And also importantly, I wanted to explore, like you said, female friendship and the complexities of that and the ways in which I think women and girls are often taught to compete with one another under, you know, this very kind of patriarchal structures. And, you know, I think for me, if I think about my female friendships, they've been incredibly grounding and healing throughout my life. And so I wanted to explore that. And I think in that way, it's really a love letter to your best friend. That's what I like to think of it.
One of the things that I was really impressed with is how you contrasted that kind of intimate relationship that Lila and Daisy have with the sort of loudness and brashness of that male-dominated space. I mean, we can also see that in the sort of intro scene where she's just at the train station and it already feels tense. There's not a lot happening, but we can feel that built-up tension in the background. What was important to you in portraying that kind of contrast?
I think it is important. I think the distinctness between those two spaces, because I think, you know, the moments that we see Daisy and Lila alone, they are quite quiet moments, and they're kind of in these protected spaces. They're safe spaces. You know, whether they're getting ready in the bedroom or they're in the bathroom at the party, or you know, in the car even later in the evening. They're spaces where they can be themselves and they're not kind of worrying about either what other people think or even kind of what, you know, what might be at play beyond just their experiences together as friends. So that was really important, I think, to capture that kind of intimacy and that quietness in those moments versus the, you know, as you put it, the very kind of, I think, intense and kind of aggressive and brashness of those male spaces. And I think, you know, we definitely see that in the party scene and as you correctly said, at the train station, which is just kind of this little, I think particularly as women, you know, you move through the world and you're just always on edge, even without kind of really realising it. There's always something that could go wrong or that kind of could happen, and so I wanted to hint at that. And then the party is this kind of, it is this place where it's quite kind of aggressive and there's power structures at play and it's quite competitive amongst the boys, and that aggression is, you know, obviously normalised but even celebrated. And it's kind of an awkward party. Like it's this, it's like not really a party. It's like a really awkward size. It's like, you know, there's enough people to feel, there's not enough people to kind of feel like you can just blend in and not be seen, but there's just enough people to feel like you're excluded and on the outer.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that, how you kind of conceive the party scene, because it has some, you know, it's sort of shot very darkly, and the way it is sort of explained, or the scenes that come after each other, sort of they arrive at the party, and you kind of, your expectation would be that there's now going to be like very loud music, but then the next scene they're just kind of standing in the kitchen. It's very dark. They're kind of with each other. It's very intimate again. How did you approach that? How did you think about the party as this sort of awkward space in a sense?
I think to me, I just really recall those moments of like, you know, like they're there because Lila has a crush on a boy and they've been invited because of that boy, but they don't know anyone. And I so recall that kind of sense of unease, you know, or like nervousness when you're entering a space where you don't know anyone, and you kind of just this awkward, like I even feel it, you know, now at my age, but particularly at 16 when you're just kind of hovering on the out edges, too scared to say hello, but kind of just gripping each other for safety. And so I wanted to show that on screen, like it's not a space that they know, and it's not a space that they're particularly welcome in. And it is that kind of awkward, which I think also kind of parallels the awkwardness of just being 16 and kind of figuring out who you are and moving through the world.
I think one of the things that I felt when I saw the scene was like, okay, it's good not to be a teenager anymore, you know?
Totally.
There's this character that you meet at the party, Drew. Could you maybe tell me a little bit about the importance that Drew has in the overall development of the characters?
I think that moment is very pivotal for Daisy. It's pivotal because she's been abandoned by Lila at that stage, so she's trying to find a place just to be while the party kind of continues on. And she meets Drew, and I think Drew kind of, you know, she's instantly attracted to Drew. And also to, I think, what Drew represents for her. Drew's this kind of cool, confident, and very kind person who, you know, makes Daisy feel both safe and desired. And that's a pretty amazing combination. So I think for Daisy, it is kind of a step forward in her recognising that queer part of her identity, her queerness, figuring out, oh, this is actually maybe a space that I haven't known about, but I really do belong here. And it was a joy to kind of write as well and direct, because you know, I kind of only felt safe coming into my queer identity much later in life. So to kind of give that to Daisy at 16 felt really lovely.
That's true. And it translates really well on the screen. I feel that kind of tenderness.
Thank you.
And generally, your two main actresses and the actress that plays Drew, they have quite some chemistry on screen, I feel. How did you work with them? Like, how did you get them to? Did they know each other beforehand, or was it just? How did you establish the trust, basically?
I mean, between Daisy and Lila, between those two, like Christina, who plays Lila, and Ingrid, who plays Daisy, they met obviously through the film, but it was really important to show that kind of intimacy on screen and the kind of, for that friendship, I think, to translate on screen. So we spent time together before the shoot, just kind of not talking about the film, just spending time together. And they did too, so they really took it on themselves to kind of go on shopping dates and kind of hang out, you know, and start to build that friendship. Which I think does come through. I think it's really, it does, beautiful. And it's the core of the film, like that's the, you know, it's the most important part. And then Drew, you know, I think when we met Drew, we felt they were perfect for that role. And they did have a lovely chemistry, but I think they were both a bit nervous, you know, kind of coming into that space, and but I think they had a connection. You know, I didn't spend time with them together out of set. I wanted it to feel like I wanted that connection on screen, that kind of slight awkwardness when they meet each other and they're clearly into each other, but they're like, oh, I don't really know if I want to. You know, I'm nervous here. I wanted that to come through, so I didn't want them to spend too much time together.
No, but that goes really well. Like that is, I think, at the heart of the film, that you kind of feel very much what what the characters feel. You know, that kind of awkwardness at the party, and then that kind of, do I make a step or do I not? Am I just gonna like stay here and just not connect with anybody or not? Yeah. It's a beautiful film.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And I think that's already it from me.
Amazing.
Domini, I want to thank you again so much for being here and for taking the time.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best for the rest of the Berlinale.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.